Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I am really, really excited to present my session on styled shoots with you this afternoon. Just first of all, before we get started, a massive word of appreciation and gratitude to everyone behind the scenes for creating this virtual show for us. It's so nice that we are able to still get together virtually. But I think that our industry really needs it. So thank you so much to everyone from behind the scenes. It's really cool that you are doing this for us, and thank you for all your effort. I am really excited to present to you today, especially with the perspective that it looks as if our industry is going to have some life breathed back into it. So, looking forward to the new season and looking forward to next year. Let's hope that the wedding photography industry, or the photography industry in general, is thriving this time next year. So just to have a look, first of all, before we get started, if you haven't seen my work before, or if you haven't listened to me speak, please follow me on Instagram. There's some cool content there, and it's just nice to be able to interact with people that follow me, and I can obviously follow everyone else back. So follow me and I'll follow you back straight away. Also, just before we get going, I would like to offer you a free gift. So just go to brettflorence.com, and I have a gift there for you, which is basically one of my photographic tutorials that you can watch anytime you like. So go to brettflorence.com/gift for that. Okay, so let's talk about creating great images with your styled shoots. And one of the most important things that I have realized when I first became a photographer 27 years ago is that most of us start off entering the industry, particularly from the wedding photography side of things, photographing for friends and family. Now, that's great, and it's nice to use your own network when you are starting off to get a new portfolio. But I might say something a little controversial here. But if you think about your friends and your family, a lot of the people that we hang around are very similar to us. They wear the same type of clothes, they like the same movies, they read the same kind of books. We like to be around people like us. So understanding the concept that shooting for friends and family, although it might be great, in terms of target market, they are very similar to you, which probably means that they don't have money either. That brings me to my point where, as photographers, we need to target people with more disposable income than us. And understanding that concept then brings you to the idea that people who have more disposable income than us relate and see the world differently in terms of images. They read different magazines, they go to different stores, they watch different movies. What most photographers do is that they create a product that they like and put it out there in the marketplace and hope somebody else is going to like it enough to pay them to do a specific commission, to do a job. Now, like I said, let me just get rid of these for a sec. Like I said, that's all fair and well, but our friends and family are not our target market. What you actually need to do is to research the market, find out what's missing in the market, and then create a product to fulfill that need. So understanding that what you might have right now in your portfolio is fantastic to attract people like you. But if you're going after people with more disposable income than you, then you need to create images that appeal to people in a higher target market demographic than yourself. And I realized that very early on in my career, where I'm shooting for people. When I look around at the wedding, I go like, these people have so much more disposable income than me. I actually consciously made a decision to rebrand my business so that I wasn't photographing for people like me. So that brings me to the next slide, obviously. If you are targeting somebody that is in a different target market demographic, you need to do your research. Who is your client? Is your client somebody that lives in a certain neighborhood, have a certain career? How old are they? Again, what magazines do they read? What perfume do they wear? All of those kinds of features in their lives, or everything that they do, where they shop, all that kind of stuff needs to be taken into account so that you can create images that appeal to them. And I know that, I mean, in the past, I wrote an article about shooting work that inspires you and that you feel excited about. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing that, but I create images that my clients like and my clients are willing to pay for. I don't actually have to like my images. It's like a shoe salesman selling a pair of shoes that isn't super excited about that pair of shoes and wouldn't wear those shoes themselves. So if I had to say it bluntly without, trying to sugarcoat things, if I was getting married right now, I probably wouldn't use me as a wedding photographer because I am not targeting people like me. So my style doesn't particularly resonate with me and my demographic and my lifestyle and all of that. And I know that that's a whole nother conversation, but we've only got 30 minutes to chat and then a couple of Q&A minutes. So let's get on with that and just understand that my concept is I am not my target market. I'm targeting people with more disposable income than me. So when you are rebranding, or if you're trying to get into the market, this is also obviously pertinent for people who are trying to enter the photographic market with so much competition. You need to be able to differentiate yourself in the market. And one of the cornerstones to any business is creating trust and credibility. If you've got trust and credibility, your business is going to be successful. If you have trust without the credibility, then it'll be the same thing. If you have credibility without trust, also a little bit meh. But if you don't have any trust and any credibility in the industry, you're not going to be profitable or sustainable. So how do you develop trust and credibility without having the experience or the portfolio to do that? And one of the ways for me has always been styled shoots. And if I'm looking at my portfolio and the history of what I've done, I can see specifically certain areas or certain times in my career where it has been jump started, or it's been given a boost specifically from a style shoot that I've done. So just to show you a few behind the scenes from style shoots that I've done, and you've probably, if you follow me, you've probably seen images like this on my website or on my Facebook, Instagram. That was a behind the scenes of an image that I was creating specifically for an advert. It was for the bride's show in London, a wedding show, an expo where I was exhibiting, and I shot that image specifically for the show, targeting a different target market demographic to myself. Again, having a look here, we can see more images, and I'm really just going to flick through them to show you the types of images that I have been creating on styled shoots, specifically to garner trust and credibility. Just a few more images to go through here. I've got 3 screens going on, so if I'm not looking at you directly, I do apologize. So as you can see, some images that are very fashion based. They look very editorial. They look like they belong in magazines like Vogue or Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, that kind of thing. That's because I'm targeting the same target market demographic as the people who read Vogue, Vanity Fair, all of those kinds of magazines. I don't well, I do now because I'm researching my target market, but ordinarily that wouldn't be where I would be looking at imagery. So understanding now that you have to create images that are going to obviously be attractive to that target market demographic. How do you go about that? What do you need to create those images? So when you are preparing for the shoot specifically, you are obviously going to need a whole bunch of different contributors or suppliers. If you say suppliers in the state, they think it's a drug dealer. We say vendors. In the States, it's vendors. But I think you know what I'm talking about. Other people collaborating with your shoot. So when you start to prepare for the shoot, you have to have, obviously, you've got models, the florist, dresses, venues, the groom's gear, hair and makeup. A videographer is really cool to have at a show, at a shoot. I'll talk to you about that in a sec. But things like a really cool car, a vintage car perhaps, or if you're targeting the Middle East, perhaps Lamborghinis, Ferraris, that kind of thing. Decor, a stylist to help with general styling, perhaps stationery, and then somebody to shoot behind the scenes footage or stills, because your videographer is going to be shooting the behind the scenes stuff there. So looking at the people that you will be dealing with, what I suggest is approaching the target, the suppliers that are currently targeting the target market that you would like to target. Now, that could mean in your first 2 or 3 styled shoots that you might have to have some money that you're going to have to outlay, because you might work with a florist who doesn't know you. There's no trust, there's no credibility, so you might have to pay that florist for flowers. For me personally, it's worth it. It's more effective than putting an advert in a bridal magazine, or it's more effective than doing Facebook ads, because those relationships that you build with those people and the credibility that you have with those people are going to last a lot longer than the reach that you're going to have from Facebook or from bridal ads or a bridal show. So find makeup artists, florists, all those kinds of contributors, and present them with a mood board or an idea of what you want to do. The cool thing about doing style shoots is that makeup artists, hairstylists, decor people, they are often controlled by the client. The client tells them what they want for their wedding. So understanding that if you shoot stuff that they are creating specifically for the shoot, the chances of them using the images in their advertising is going to be so much more. The chances that they use them is almost 100%, because they're creating work that reflects them and what they want. They're not being dictated to by the client. So hair and makeup, just let them do their own thing within certain boundaries. But essentially, florists, this hair and makeup artist that I worked with this shoot here, I was like, do your own thing. Said to the florist, this is the kind of thing that I want, but bring your take to it. This was a shoot that I used probably 3 or 4 years ago. That I shot probably 3 or 4 years ago, and it was so successful in Zoni. The wedding dress company have used it in billboards. It's been a really, really cool shoot for me. That was on a workshop that I was doing, but it's still a styled collaborating shoot where I'm bringing in dress designers, makeup artists, florists, and all of that kind of thing. So if I look, that's the final image from that behind the scenes there. Okay, so when you're actually preparing for the shoot, I think it's really, really important to get a mood board together so that so you collaborate, you have a meeting, in a pre-production meeting, you sit there and you thrash it out and you say, okay, what's the color palette that we're going for, so that the makeup artist and the florist are all on the same page. The dress designer gives you the right types of dresses to suit that particular collaboration. So you're all sitting there together, brainstorming, bringing in everyone's talents to be able to create a final 5 or 6 amazing images that everyone is going to use. Now, I've been doing this since 2008. I've been doing style shoots, so I've been doing it for quite a while now. And I do one-on-one mentoring, and I wanted to show you specifically there's a photographer that I've been mentoring. She's in Orlando, Florida. She moved down from North Carolina and was in a brand new town, looking around going, okay, I'm new to the market, I'm new to the industry, I know what I'm doing, but I just don't have any traction in the industry. And I said to her, look, style shoots definitely the way to go. You can expand your portfolio, but obviously you're going to be interacting with the other suppliers as well, and that's going to get you your credibility and your trust. Well, your credibility is going to come through the images, but your trust is going to come through the industry. I'll talk about that in a sec. So I'm showing you this because it works in any town, in any country. I'm also busy with somebody else in Australia at the moment. I live in Amsterdam, and I've done it here. I've done it so many times in the UK. Some of you might even have been on 1 or 2 of my workshops. But essentially, Julia did a styled shoot. This was the very, very first styled shoot that she did. She approached a florist. She also approached all of those contributors, but just to let you know that when she did approach the florist, there was a little bit of hesitancy because the florist didn't know who Julia was, and Julia had to pay for flowers. So all she had to do was cover the costs of the flowers. The makeup artist, she contributed at no charge. The model she had to pay, so I think it was like $150, $200 for the model, but then she also had to pay for the flowers. Now she's got to a stage, and if you follow her on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube specifically, now she's in a situation where other people are actually willing to pay to be on her collaboration shoots. So essentially what she's doing is she's putting it all together, and not only is she getting images for herself, she's also getting paid. You could also bring on other photographers onto that shoot if you wanted to reduce costs. I'm sorry that I'm speaking so fast. There's just so much information that I have to try and get into the half hour that we have to chat. So this is a video of her very first style shoot, and have a look at this. Okay, I think I have to press play. Yes, there we go.
What do you see? Is it a beautiful picture? But do you see the beauty in the pieces and the process? Do you see the magic? There's time, preparation, and instruction. There's creativity, inspiration, and transformation. And knowing precisely when to click. There's movement, there's energy, and there's perfectly timed chaos. It takes an eye with a vision to bring something to life. It takes faith that fantasy can become reality. Working together, the pieces fall perfectly into place. Now, take a closer look, because the details are where you'll find the magic.
So from that specific style shoot, and what I do at all my style shoots is when I have a videographer there, I make sure that when they are shooting in a way that I can actually cut maybe 5 or 6 different videos for different people. So I will make a video specifically for the makeup artist. I'll make another one specifically for the dress, another one for decor. Each contributor gets 2 videos. One, an overall video from the whole shoot, and then secondly, one that they can use on their platforms to specifically promote their product. So when she was filming that, bearing in mind she was relatively unknown at the stage, she filmed like I told her to do in terms of different videos for different people. She made one for Elinchrom, the Flash company, and she sent it off to Elinchrom, and Elinchrom posted it onto their Facebook. She also was featured from that shoot on Vogue Brides. You can see here as well that her second style shoot, or her third style shoot, Elinchrom started sharing there. And again, another one from Elinchrom. And within 8 months, Elinchrom had liked her work so much and had got so much content from her. She is now a USA ambassador for Elinchrom. And that is also how I became an ambassador for Nikon, Lowepro, Elinchrom, so many different brands that have benefited from my content. And becoming a brand ambassador, I mean, I could do a whole lecture on becoming a brand ambassador as well. It's about making yourself marketable. It's not about taking great images and hoping somebody's going to come to you and say, oh, hi, would you like to be an ambassador? You need to go out there and proactively create content that is going to make their job so much easier. And that's exactly how I became a Nikon ambassador and all the rest. So if I look over here again, just one more slide to show you from Yulia. That's that one over there, which I think is doubled up. Oh, no, it's not. It's another one from that. Okay, so just to let you see one of my styled shoots that I shot. Here we go. All right, and this is from one of my styled shoots. Okay, so moving on to my next slide. 4 minutes left for this section. Okay, so trust and credibility. When you've got great images, you've obviously garnered credibility. But how do you get trust within the industry? One of the most important things is your relationships with other people in the industry. So targeting the trade. I always talk about it in terms of getting in through the service entrance. You need to enter the market by making friends with people in the industry and having relationships with people in the industry. So venues, wedding coordinators, decor, hair and makeup, all of those people, they're going to be around a lot longer than the bride is going to be around. So targeting the bride when it comes to your advertising is fine, and it's probably the most logical way of approaching your business. But targeting the bride is expensive, and they're only in the market for a very short amount of time until they've found a photographer, then they're out. Whereas a wedding coordinator, it's their career. They're going to be around a lot longer than the bride. So building a relationship with a wedding coordinator and me only having to concentrate on the relationship I have with the person who's doing all the wedding coordinating at a certain hotel, I'm getting 4, 5, 6 weddings a year from that person, and I only really have to build one relationship. Absolutely fantastic. The cheapest, most effective way to get into the industry is to target the trade. So to make it a little bit more, just to give you a bit of an example, obviously people are going to buy from people that they trust, and being industry approved is so much more important than blowing your own trumpet with your own advertising. Now, I always talk about the situation where if you were going out to dinner and you knew that the person that you were going to whose house you were going to dinner, you knew that they really liked red wine. Now, I personally don't drink. If I had to buy somebody a bottle of red wine, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I'm going to go to the wine merchant. I'm going to go to the expert in the industry to give me advice. I'm going to go there and I'm going to say, okay, I've got 30 pounds to spend on a bottle of wine, or I've got 20 pounds, 10 pounds. If you had to buy a bottle of wine for 30 pounds, which wine would you buy? I'm not going to listen to the person on this side of the counter who's going to have their own personal preference. I want to know what the industry leaders and the people in the know, I want to know what their opinion is. So if the florist is saying, wow, Brett is a great photographer, and the makeup artist is saying, you've got to use Brett, and they go to the wedding coordinator saying, have you seen Brett's work? Obviously, that's going to get a little bit of buzz and excitement about me and my work, and it's going to be so much more beneficial than me putting an advert in a bridal magazine. So styled shoots are the way to get trust in terms of building relationships with people within the industry. Also to get credibility with creating great images. So understanding that the trust element, all you're really doing is piggybacking on the trust that the person that you're collaborating with has already gained in the industry. And if I had to go and see a wedding coordinator and say, hi there, can you put me on your list of preferred suppliers? How is it beneficial to them? But if I've worked with them on a styled shoot and I've worked with them for half a day, 3/4 of a day, now I've got that opportunity to build a relationship with them. Right. And then you see, I know it's really small, but basically the wedding coordinator is doing all the work for me. They're saying, have you seen Brett's work? He's the Rolls Royce of wedding photographers. He's amazing. He's incredible. Now, I don't have to do that because the industry is doing that for me. Right. So thank you so much. I am going to be taking 10 minutes of questions and answers. I've just got to flip to a different platform to make sure that I can see what questions there are over there. But in the meantime, very, very quickly, I have a training platform if anybody's interested. I've got a lot of training up there at the moment, and I'm continuing to add to it. It's called thefocal-lounge.com. Anyone who wants to join there, 50% savings. Stay at home 50 is your promo code for as long as Corona's around. And then obviously I do one-on-one mentoring, and you can get in contact me through my website or through the Focal Lounge. So very quickly, I'm going to put my headphones back in. Oh, I don't need them though, I don't think. Right, headphones back in. We've got 8 minutes left to chat, and I am going to see what questions we have over here. Okay, let's go. So all right, so I can see your questions now, and let's just have a quick look. Do you think styles shoots work well for any type of photography other than weddings? Yes, absolutely, because if you wanted to go in and start shooting fashion right now, you personally don't have the contacts and the history or the network within the industry to be able to elevate your name above everyone else's. So you need hairstylists, makeup artists, stylists, fashion designers. You need to create content for them, and you need to obviously everything else that I spoke about as well. So yes, absolutely. For things like fashion, potentially portraiture, because you can go and talk to a makeup artist, one of the best makeup artists around, and do that. What about, there was a guy who did aviation. He came on my wedding photography course. It was the strangest compliment I ever got. He finished the 3-day wedding photography course and said, "Thank you so much, Brett. I learned that I don't want to be a wedding photographer." He is now one of the most successful aviation photographers, implementing everything that I've been teaching into the aviation industry. So now he's shooting for airplane companies rather than just going to the airport and shooting pictures that rather than just shooting airplanes that come past. He's actually actively going after companies and is shooting for big clients now. Okay, great info. Oh, thank you, Andrea, not sure which one it is. How much creative control do you give collaborators to if you're not paying them? I give them total creative control because I wasn't born creative. All I'm really doing is stacking up the cards to make sure that the chances of me getting an amazing image are much better. So I'll get the best makeup artist and I'll say, do your thing. I get the best florist and I'll say, do your thing. The dress, sometimes I look at stuff and I go like, what is that? But what I have to understand is that it's not meant to appeal to me. It's meant to appeal to people with more money than me. Right. All right, Steve, I think I need to go further than the town I'm in, as it seems a very price orientated, which is killing me. Yes, I understand that. If there aren't people in your area, in your target market, in your vicinity that have disposable income, that have more money than you, yes, you're going to have to go fishing in a different pond. The problem with this industry right now is that there are so many photographers fishing in the same pond and the fish are just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You can put in big effort to go to a different pond or a lake. It might take you 3 days to walk there, but when you go fishing there are less photographers and bigger fish. So you might have to go out of your comfort zone and go and shoot in different regions, different areas. I see that there aren't that many more questions over here that haven't been spoken about in the session, but just to talk about going outside of your comfort zone or outside of your area. What I did to penetrate the Middle East market is I was flying a lot between Durban and Amsterdam when I moved over to Amsterdam, and I still had work back in South Africa. I would, commute back and forth, and I would go through Dubai because it was the cheapest flight, from Amsterdam, Dubai, Durban. And one day, what I did was I arranged through Facebook, I arranged a shoot in Dubai, and instead of having a 2-hour layover, normally my flight lands at about 4, and then you catch the 6 o'clock or the 7 o'clock flight from Dubai to Amsterdam. I caught the later flight, like the 3 o'clock flight. So I landed at 4 in the morning, quickly went out into through immigration and got my bags because I checked it in as 2 separate flights. I had somebody waiting in the car. We went out into the desert. We shot really amazing images in the desert. I got back to the airport, got back on the plane, arrived in Amsterdam, and I'm not joking, the next year I had 5 weddings booked. Well, not completely booked, but from that I had 5 inquiries for the Middle East, of which I converted 3. So I started shooting a lot in the Middle East. Now it's one of my favorite hunting grounds. Dubai, Oman, Bahrain, really, really cool because it's beautiful, but also that's where the money is. So yeah, in terms of getting out of your comfort zone and out of the town that you're in, yes, if that's what you want to do, if you're not happy where you are right now, you have to do something that you haven't done before. I know that that's a Thomas Jefferson quote, that if you want to achieve something that you've never achieved before, you're going to have to do something that you've never done before. So yeah, if you need to get out of your town, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Okay, so what sort of, okay, so lots of questions that I didn't see. Sorry, guys, sorry. Okay, here we go. Where did you start to organize a style shoot? How do you present a service? If you've got no images, if you don't have any images, you just pull stuff off Pinterest, get a nice Pinterest board together. You go to a florist and say, hi there, I'm a photographer. I'm going to be doing a style shoot. This is what I want to achieve. Are you interested in joining? You didn't say that these are my images. You said, this is what I want to achieve. And if you can achieve that, don't go there like not confident that you can't achieve what you're trying to shoot, but go there and show them a Pinterest board, a mood board, and say, this is what I've got. This is what I'd like to shoot. Are you interested? All right. So somebody said, interesting. Thank you. How do you find the best models and locations? You put out a model call. You can do that on Facebook. There are different groups on Facebook with different models. Instagram is also a great place to do that. Nice behind the scene. What sort of softbox was I using? No, sometimes it was a 2-light setup. Claire, somebody was asking about the light setup. So sometimes it was a 2-light setup. Sometimes it was a 1-light setup, because I wanted to get images that I can give Elinchrom. So the softbox, it was the umbrella, the 120 deep umbrella. The other, there were a few, but text me or email me and I'll let you know. Isabel, how did I get into photography professionally? Well, that's a very long story and it's not conventional, but basically I was a policeman in South Africa during apartheid, and they needed a photographer to photograph all the politically motivated murders, township violence. So I started off photographing dead people. I've photographed so many horrible, horrible things in my life. I did that for 7 years. And then I realized I cannot do this anymore. I left the police force and started my own business. Before that, I had no photographic inclination whatsoever. If they needed a chef, today I'd be a chef. If they needed a mechanic, today I would be a mechanic. So was it difficult to make the leap, and how did you stay motivated and patient to make those relationships? Yeah, you've got to be patient. A lot of it takes time. This weekend coming up, I'm going on a job, which is probably the biggest job of my life. And it all started 5 years ago. It's a relationship that was built 5 years ago. So whatever you're doing now, it's long term. You know, when you are getting into the industry, you've obviously got to think long term. And the job that I'm going on this weekend is honestly the biggest job that I've ever done. And it is because of a relationship that I've garnered over the last 5 years. I don't think there are any more questions, but I think we might be out of time. Yeah, and I think we're done with that. So yeah, are we done? All right, guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all the time. I know that you could have been watching other people. Thank you so much to the people from the photography show. Leah, Sophie, Hazel, thank you so much. Have a fantastic afternoon. Catch up soon. Cheers.